There we go. Well, welcome everybody. This is week number 12. Welcome especially to our asynchronous students that will be watching and appreciating and participating. Is that the key word here this week? We are 1 week from Thanksgiving, so that's exciting, right? I already talked to the boys about Thanksgiving plans. Caitlin, Soraya, what are you guys doing for Thanksgiving?
Well, my family, they're like in a group chat talking with each other, and I'm like, just tell me what's happening and I'll just do it. Like, I'll just go with that. So I think for now, from what I last saw, is we're gonna go to like a family friend's house in the morning, afternoonish, and then for me, I'm going to leave from there and go to my boyfriend's grandma's house with his family. So kind of like a daytime and evening time. So.
Nice, nice. Caitlin, you get to see any of your family or?
Yeah, my grandma actually lives like in the Palm Springs area, so I'm gonna spend the week with her and my parents are gonna drive out.
Excellent. That
Yeah.
sounds great. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I was telling the guys this morning because we have internship calls. My son in New York was supposed to be coming, but he canceled his flight, so he's not coming for another month. They're not allowed to travel right now from New York, so it's going to be quiet around our house, my wife and I and my two younger ones, so it'll be good. Not that they're so young anymore, 16 and 18, so. All right, well, let's jump in today. This is week number 12, and we're going to focus on ProPresenter for a second week. So hopefully from last week, we'll build on what we did. I'm going to show you 3 new things that I did not show you last week, and then we're going to also build on some of the stuff we've done. If you want to go to our Moodle site, you could do that as well, and I put a folder on week number 12. It's labeled ProPresenter Resources, semicolon or colon, Thanksgiving service. It's got a set of sermon verses in there. It's got a couple more songs that should be familiar to you. It's got a couple backdrops that we can use as well. So, but I thought today we would work together as a lab, ProPresenter LAB, and we would create a part of a Thanksgiving service. So we'll get a chance to do that. So hopefully you're close to a computer or something that you can work with today. As we go through that, let's just by way of review, today is do your web assignment number 7, which is a team building article from Church Production Magazine. Our assignment for next week is from the case study tab. So again, going back to Church Production Magazine, and all this stuff is on Moodle as well. So for next week, actually 2 weeks actually on this, sorry, that'll be from Church Production Magazine, and instead of going to the education tab, or the resources tab I think we used last week. No, sorry, case study we did. For this week we will do, no, sorry, last week was team building. This week is case study. Sorry, I said that wrong. So from the case study section, and let me just read a few of the titles for us while we're looking at this here. So case studies, lessons in budgeting, mega churches reached without breaking the bank, time for transformation. So this is going to be more like church, specific church case studies that are going with lighting, video, things like that. South Carolina Church sets its sights on multiracial community and global outreach. The name of the article is A Time for Transformation Using Video as a Prominent Tool. So you'll find some audio articles in there, you'll find some lighting articles, and you'll also find some video. There's one about PTZ, pan-tilt zoom cameras at a church in Denton, Texas. So pick one of those, just write me a 1-page synopsis on that from Church Production. So that's for 2 weeks from now. All right, any questions you all have for me before we start sharing screens here real quick? Alrighty, we are back looking at ProPresenter. Just a thumbs up. Everybody seeing ProPresenter on my screen here? Awesome, thank you so much. So I said I wanted to teach you 3 new things real quickly that you could integrate into your local church ministry. Some of these may be things that you've already done before but may be familiar, but hopefully these are new things that you haven't used previously that I would say personally stuff that I use a lot that are really, really helpful for me doing stuff with ProPresenter. Again, ProPresenter is probably the most popular lyric presentation software, videos, all that type of stuff that can be all sent from a central location. I'm using ProPresenter 6 today. There is a ProPresenter 7, as I mentioned last week, for those that want to use that. I just haven't upgraded yet. So first thing I want to show you is the loop timer. Then I'm also going to show you the scheduler, and then finally I'm going to show you how you can export documents and then also playlists. So loop timer, what does it do? Why is it important? First of all, as you're looking at a document like this, the name of my document here is called Fusion Loop. Again, it's going to fall within a playlist called LPU, Live Pacific University Tech. These are just the ones I've created for our tech class here. And I've created a document. You could also find this same document up here in the library, which is just by way of review. What you use the timer for, and you can see it's this little clock here up towards the right corner. This allows you to auto advance or create slide presentations that will automatically play. And that's what I'm going to show you the scheduler here in a second way you can actually automatically play things. So a real quick way that I will use this for really two things, for pre-production or for pre-service slides. So most churches will have either a timer or they'll have some type of slides and stuff of upcoming events that are coming up, right? Or ministries we want to highlight. So when people are sitting in the sanctuary in the old days, you know, a couple minutes early before sanctuary, drinking their coffee and getting ready for church service, you could put up slides about men's ministry or women's or students or cry rooms, all kinds of different stuff like that. You could do that. So what you could do real easily is just set a timer, and there's already presets, but you can also set custom times here as well. So let's say we want to put an 8-second timer on every one of these slides, and you'll notice that the number 8 will appear in the left corner, which tells us the amount of time. And then this little clock, which is basically a play next cue that goes on. Notice as well on the very last one, I'm going to trigger these and just watch them go, okay? Notice also on the very last one, there's a loop which tells it to go back to the very beginning. So about every 8 seconds, see the next slide comes up. Next slide, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, my counting's a little off, but every 8 seconds that's going to go. And again, I'm just going to push forward here. This now, when it gets to the very last slide, which will go here in just a second, it will count to 8. And should, if I've done this right, it'll auto trigger back to the first one. There it goes. All right, so it goes right back to it. And this will just keep playing continuously. So if there's situations where you may have people coming in and out of a room and you want slides up, I think like a memorial service or something like that, where maybe you could have people that are coming a little earlier and may not be any stuff happening on the stage. You could run this for longer. Maybe you're doing an open house in a room or something like that, and you want a slide presentation to be going on continuously. You could do something like this, and these will play for hours. Really, as long as you have the program open, they will play and just keep rolling and rolling and rolling. You can run longer ones. You can run shorter ones. Any number of different scenarios where these will play. It'll also play with motion graphics and stuff like that too. So if you've got a motion, it'll follow the timings on all those as well. Now, a secondary way that you can make this really cool, I'm going to let this keep running on its timer, is what we refer to as the scheduler. And what the scheduler is going to do, scheduler is going to tell the time when the document is going to start. So here's how I use this. So in our normal scenario, I have multiple rooms running on simultaneously at the same time, same service, just different rooms, different locations. So I can synchronize all of my ProPresenter computers at the same time by basically setting up a scheduler. So anywhere anybody is on our campus, they're going to see the exact same slide using the scheduler app that's built in here. So I can select a playlist. Again, my playlist here is named LPU Tech. I'm going to give an item, which is our Fusion Loop, and let me stop it for right now so we're back to black. So my Fusion Loop, today is the 19th, and I'm going to give it a time. I'll do this relatively full, just make it straight up 11:45 p.m. or 1:45 p.m. We're about 16 seconds out. And if I did this right, you can also set these on for repeats and stuff as well. So if you want them to, you're going to do the same thing week after week after week, they'll follow. So in 2, 1, boom. See how it went? I didn't push any keys. I didn't do anything. It just automatically took the timer. And again, I use the scheduler in this situation uh, for multiple rooms. You could also use this. So let's say your church likes to use a 3, 4, 5 minute timer before a service. You could set it to automatically trigger based on Apple time on your computer to trigger exactly at a particular time. I do this as well. Like if I have a lyrics volunteer, somebody who's running this, they may be there for rehearsal, but they may go off and have a cup of coffee and a donut and take their kids off to kids' church or something like that instead as well. So they may be busy when I want those slides to be playing. So I can automatically set the timer and just tell them, hey, go have fun, enjoy, just show up 1 minute before the service, you're good to go, the slides will go automatically. So it's a really nice and convenient thing to set up, the combination of using the loop timer, which will go within a document, and then the second thing, the scheduler, which will set up at specific times for things to play. Let me stop a second and let you guys ask questions before I show you one more thing. Anybody? Anybody used the loop timer before? Harrison's nodding his head. Yeah, what do you use loop timer for, Harrison?
Just like, yeah, for the pre-church service, like people walking in, stuff like that.
Yeah, sweet. Anybody else use the timer or the scheduler before? There's also another version of the timer here. I'm not going to go into this one, but there's one here where you see 1 and 2 or 0 to 2. You can actually put these slides on a loop and then put music to them as well. So let's say you wanted to do a slide presentation from an event or youth camp or something like that, and before your youth service you wanted to throw a bunch of slides but also play music at the same time. You could do those from 2 different sources, like which we'll probably do, but you could also sync them together and you could put them all from a single source and do it that way and put it on a specific timer. Again, your durations and stuff there are right in the right corner. So I don't use this one as much as I use this timer instead, just for point of reference on that. And then the scheduler I use all the time. So that's really, really helpful for me. The third thing I want to show you, go ahead, Soraya, you're fine.
I was gonna say for the scheduler, I don't know if you already mentioned it, but when you go back, like if you wanted to cut the timer short, like, oh, we're gonna start a little bit before the timer is up, is there a way to like just cut it without like interrupting anything in a negative way?
So once it basically triggers that first slide and it'll just keep playing, and as soon as you go live or you basically pick something new, it eliminates that scheduler and it no longer will do that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
In this situation, it went to a loop, so it's automatically, but you could send it to your first song. You could send it to any number of different scenarios. And you could set up multiple timers as well if you wanted to based on certain things. Like you could have one for your first service, your second service, your evening service. That's different things like that you could set up. And so they're really easy to do. And it's a really helpful tool to really kind of sync things in multiple locations, and then also to sync things and help people that with volunteers. They've got a lot of things going on. Maybe at a moment they're like, how many times have we been like 15 minutes before the service? Somebody gonna turn the music on? Who's running the slides today? I forgot, and the pastor's kind of scrambling. It's like, just automate it. Just automate it. It's done. You don't have to worry about it. Nobody's freaking out or forgetting. So, yeah. All right. Third thing I want to show you is being able to export. And you can export not only documents, but also export playlists. Okay. And so this is really helpful. So let's say you have your laptop like I've got here in front of me, and I do all the work in this location. I could be working for multi-ministries. I could setting stuff up for kids. I could be doing for students, for our main services, different things that are going on. But I may not use this same computer to drive the slides, right? Last week I talked about the cloud. They actually have a cloud service, which I use all the time. It's an extra $100 a year, but it's more than worth it for me. I can do all my work here, send it to the cloud, and then when I get to that computer at that location, it'll just pull it down and it's just fine. You may not want to buy the cloud or pay for the subscription, and this is how you would be able to do that. This is also a great way, like if you create a document and you just want to share it with a friend, So you can do this again with documents, but you can also do it with playlists. So your documents are generally here in the library. So all you have to do is you highlight it. You can right click on this and you can export it as a ProPresenter a bundle. Sorry, you can also export the slides as individual images. This will show up like as JPEGs type of thing. So it doesn't stay inside a ProPresenter. You could transfer it back out if you wanted with like PowerPoint or something like that if you had a secondary location. Yeah, so you just shoot out these slides or this presentation, and then you can bring that back in on a different computer, which is a really easy way to share things on that. You can also, as I mentioned, you can share playlists. So here's my playlist that we've been working with today. Export playlist. This will also, if you choose the right button here, at the very bottom you'll see include media. So this would be like videos and stuff like that. So maybe you've got a promo video. We're going to show a couple of videos this weekend for our Thanksgiving service. So those are all going to be included in this presentation. So if I don't use this laptop, I can shoot all of this presentation out. I can share it, use the cloud. I can also do it this way, just on a zip stick or USB drive, whatever. And I can get things out that way. So again, you can say, or you can export individual documents. Now notice, for whatever reason, they don't let you export documents from inside of a playlist. So once it's set up in a playlist, you can't grab it here, but you can grab it from the libraries where you can export it. And you can also export your playlist. But keep in mind, if you want your videos and stuff and the media that you've included in the presentation to stay with the presentation, click that little X or that little check mark and then send it out. It usually takes a couple seconds to do. It's not very long. And then you can import that wherever you need to do that. Questions on those three new things that I showed you today? Last week we talked about, gave you a casual assignment, nothing that you had to turn in or be required to do, but encourage you to find an opportunity. So did anybody get to watch or work with ProPresenter this week, maybe at your church service or your live stream? Did you get to look over the shoulder of your live stream ProPresenter person? Anybody have any stories to share? Lots of no's. You're all really, really busy, I understand. Also encourage you last week to maybe get a chance to watch one or two of the tutorial videos from Renewed Vision. Anybody get a chance to watch a tutorial video? ProPresenter 6 or ProPresenter 7? Swing number 2, strike and a miss. All right, so those are good opportunities. We'll point back to those again. You're all laughing at me now, so I'll point you back to those in just a second here. But those again are really, really great resources for you to take advantage of. All right, Soraya, strike number 3. Here we go. What are we gonna say?
No, I was gonna say I actually did try to download it in Studio B, and I like went through that process, but when I did it, it was like not allowing me to like actually like use the program. It was like, oh, purchase it, and I was like, okay, I think it did give me the option to like do like a sample like
The
real
demo
quick.
version, yeah, definitely you can download the demo version.
Yeah. So
Sorry, I got a lumberjack walking behind me here.
okay.
Well, again, ProPresenter is something that's getting used a ton in churches. You guys are seeing it a lot at your churches on campus. I know you use it as well. It is a tremendous, tremendous tool. Again, you know, PowerPoint, stuff like that are out there, but this far surpasses. It is expensive, but it far surpasses what something like PowerPoint can do. It's not at all what Bill Gates ever planned for your churches to be doing. So excellent, excellent tools. All right, so this is going to be a lab today. We're going to dig in a little bit more on doing some more ProPresenter. So let me share a screen with me, or share with you again. If you, as I mentioned before, if you go to our Moodle site, you'll be able to go to this document or this folder right here, ProPresenter Resources, Thanksgiving Service. So go ahead and click on that and download that if you would with me. And then we're going to reshare, but we're going to go here instead. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another song for you guys and demonstrate. I did 2 of these really, really fast last week. I'm going to demonstrate how you copy and paste them in, or create a new document, copy and paste the lyrics in. I'm also going to demonstrate how you can give labels to things. So here's your verse, here's your chorus, here's your bridge, that type of stuff. And then I'm also going to show you how you can make those road maps that we talked about last week. So the first part will be review. I'll just show you those 3 things. Then I have 2 songs that are in that folder that you can look at, that you can add those in yourself, and I'm going to give you a few minutes to work on those as well, and then of course we'll be here available for you to do that. So you're all seeing my screen. So I hit new. I'm just going to call this LPU Tech. It's a song, and we're just going to call it number 1. This is on a template, so I'm just going to go back to a default. It has a tendency to go to wherever the last thing I did, so I was creating a template for a different service we're doing this week, so we won't follow that. I'm just going to copy and paste this over. You may not see this part, but I'm going to take the old hymn, Joyful, Joyful, we adore thee, God of glory, Lord of life. Some of your churches may be singing that for Thanksgiving. So I've got the information on a PDF off to a side document here. I'm going to use Reflow to do this. There are other ways of doing it. You could use the editor. I also showed you how to use Quick Edit, though you'll have to get some slides going before you can use Quick Edit. So all I'm going to do is copy and paste all this information over. I do like to highlight all that information and remove all of its previous formatting so it's nice and clean. It doesn't look like anything is there, but I'm going to use my formatting key right now. My preset is 55. And let me just make sure I change my size real quick. I'm going to work at 720 for right now. There we go. So I had the basic information, the basic song and stuff here. Now I'm just going to clean it up. I'm going to go back to Reflow as well. Lord of Glory. Glory, Lord, that's the first line, sorry. Hearts unfold, that's a new line. Out the clouds of sin and darkness. Try the dark giver. All right, you can use option return to create different sections. I'm not going to do all of these sections here. In our church, we like to add a little chorus to it, so that's that little section there. To make it unique. So I know this is going to be verse 1, group label, verse 1, verse 2, here's my chorus, and I've got all these presets in here as well. This is now going to be verse 3, and there's a 4th verse in here too, option return, verse 4, right? And this section is repeated from the earlier course, so I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of it. You can use that arrow that's there, or the pull-down menu. So I could obviously go through and clean this up a lot more, change fonts, do all kinds of stuff like that. I could break them into separate slides. Let me just do one of these verses. Lord of love, hearts unfold before thee. I'm going to capitalize the first line. Let me make a new slide, option return. Yeah, so it might look a little bit like that. I told you I'm at war against the comma, so I'm going to get rid of all my commas. Oops, there we go. So it's going to look a little bit like that. Of course, I just triggered it, so now it will go, Joyful, joyful, we adore thee, God of glory, Lord of love. So the first verse is in 2 different sections. I haven't gone on to do the other sections as we could do this, and I'll let you guys take some time to do this as well. For my purposes, I like to add 2 blank slides. I told you about this last week, and I put one at the top, and I label it. This is just a right click, group label, blank. And I do one at the end, new group, and I call it instrumental. The difference is the blank one, I will add my backdrop, and so it moves, but I never have to trigger it again. So once it's in motion, I don't have to re-trigger it. So I trigger it, my words come up over the top. Again, those aren't formatted, so don't hold that against me. And then I've always got a blank. Notice that backdrop did not change. So if I needed to clear the screens and just wanted the backdrops, that's why I do that as well. Any questions so far? Familiar? You've looked at this before? All right. The next thing we're going to do is create an order of song, right? So your worship leader may say, I'm going to sing verse 1, verse 2, chorus, verse 3, verse 4, chorus, or repeat the chorus, and we'll tag or something on the end, right? We've all done that, so it helps your lyric person follow along really, really easily. So anybody remember where we do that or what the icon is to set up a roadmap?
Is it the little single box to the 3?
That's
For
the
the
one,
top right?
exactly. So what you're looking at now, once I click it, it's grayed in, it goes opposite. So now you can see we're in kind of roadmap view or arrangement view, as you might say. These gray slides are all the master slides that we've created, and they just line up blank, verse 1, verse 2. They follow the labels that we already gave it. Now, if you go to this little wheel here, gear, the master arrangement is the master level that we're already looking at. We can add a new arrangement. And if you're doing a lot of these, I use worship all the time as my main one, and then I use like tag as my second if I've got like we're going to repeat a song or do it at the end. Sometimes I'll do it for specific services like our CA students or women's ministry, stuff like that. We'll do different arrangements for them, set them up. So that's easy and nice for them. So now this is my actual arrangement called worship, and you'll notice that worship arrangement name came up here. So it's visible as well, so I know what arrangement I'm working on. It's going to follow the exact things as the master until I start changing it. So in that situation, I said I'm going to do verse 1, verse 2, chorus, then I'm going to do verse 3, verse 4, but then I'm going to repeat the chorus, and I'm going to do the chorus 2 times. Okay, so maybe we do it that way, but then the worship pastor says, you know, I really love that 4th verse. I want to sing that 4th verse 2 times, right? But I'm only going to do the chorus 1 more time, right? So you can start changing and adjusting and making, but this purple will now reflect. So master slides are up here in gray. Your purple will follow what your arrangement is, and that's what's down here below. So blank, blank, verse 1. If I switch these 2 verses around, notice verse 2 came forward, verse 1, and that's the way that you can do it. You don't have to do it, but I find this very, very helpful for arrangements, especially just for volunteers to be able to follow along and have a good sense of where the song is mapped out, especially if your worship leaders are pretty consistent, like what they do in rehearsal is what they do live. I know in some churches you may be a little more spirit driven, and so it's a little more winging it and kind of happen from moment to moment. But I found this to be really, really helpful to kind of pull things together. Any questions on how to create those arrangements? All right, let me get you guys busy. So let's go ahead and do that. So go ahead and create a new document. Take the information that I gave you, you downloaded from Moodle, and you can do this song, Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee. There's also a second song in there. What was the second song called? Oh, The Blessing, which everybody is singing right now. You could do that one as well, a second song that you could do, but go ahead and work on those 2 songs for a couple seconds. Create a new document, copy and paste, or however you want to get that information over. Go ahead and label them based on verses and choruses, bridges, that type of stuff. And then create a custom arrangement, and you can just make up your own arrangement as you do that. Questions? All right, go ahead.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So I wasn't near a computer last week, so I think
Sure.
I'm a little behind.
That's okay.
But I hit new and I labeled it like LPU Tech 1. And
Yes.
I downloaded the files off of Moodle, but I'm not seeing how I can get that in.
Yeah, so I'm just doing this the old analog way. So all I'm doing is I'm just copy and pasting from one document or from one program to the other. Does that make sense?
That was a great sentence I just said there.
That was
Um, thank you. Um, but do I need to have like a slide that I'm copy and pasting it onto?
Yeah, so let me show you that real quick here. So if you're in, let me just do desktop one so you can see everything I've got going on here. Get this out of the way. So I've got this document here and I just copied it, right? And so what I did in my situation is I'll create a new one. We'll just call it test song and I'm going to put it at 720 on its dimensions. Then I went to reflow. This is what really works well for me. I'm going to go over here again. Copy, paste, and so now it's inside of that document. Now you can't really see it very well, so what I do is I use the format key right here and I hit apply all and then it looks like it should now. Reflow, then you can go back and you can make all those edits and stuff like we're doing.
Oh,
Does that help?
I think I might have downloaded the wrong version because I don't have.
You don't have reflow. All right, let's look at that a
Yeah,
second.
I don't have that bar that you have, that it's above the slides.
Up above the slides, you don't have any Are you on 6 or 7 here?
I believe I'm on 6.
Okay. Let us share. For some reason I keep losing all your smiley faces here, but I'm guessing that you're all sharing. So if you do have a question, just holler and we'll get to it. So you should have this toolbar up here. I'm right clicking on it and you can customize the toolbar and then you can kind of pick whatever you want to. If you want to keep the default, you can just drag that up there. I'm not going to do that obviously because I got mine customized and then hit done. So let's see if I want to put, oh, I've already got reflow up here, so that's already up there. So that's how I did that. Harrison, are you able to see that, customize that?
I am. I see reflow, but I'm trying to put it on the bar, like drag it and drop it, but it's not saving it.
Did you hit done after you finished
It's it's just not. It's not letting me, like, when I drag and drop it, it doesn't stay.
that? Interesting. So like you're watching me right now. So like I take this mask and I drop it on there, it doesn't stay like that.
Oh, I see. I have it now.
And then if I don't want to use the mask, I can take it off. Oof.
Whoa, how do you make that smaller? Oh my goodness.
And you can also adjust, like here on the bottom, use small sizes, and then you can also adjust it where it's just icons only or text only. So that's just the text.
There we go.
That's just the icons and text together.
I guess mine's black on black.
Oh,
So
weird.
that's why I can't see it.
Interesting. Caitlin, were you able to copy and paste that information in then?
So my computer is spazzing out. It's taking me a really long time. I just put reflow up at the top.
Okay.
So now I select it. Oh, okay. We may be getting somewhere.
Excellent.
Whoa. Size 40. Do I hit editor?
You can do it that way as well if you want. I don't find it as helpful to use the editor just for my purposes, it feels a little more clunky to do it this way. I prefer working in reflow, but whatever works best for you is fine. You,
I
you can also do it this way where you double click or you right click and you can quick edit and that'll get you in here and you can edit things that way as well.
So how do I, when you were in Reflow
Mhm.
and you made different slides, how do I do that again?
Oh, the different labels. So you go right here, group label, and give it its label. Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about breaking it into new slides?
Breaking it into new
Breaking
slides.
into new slides. Perfect. Okay. So all that works around the so let me just show you how we do this. So I want to create a new slide right there. I could do it right here. So I hit Option, Return. I think there's probably up here as well is there a new slide, break slide? I've gotten so used to doing Option, Return, I'm not sure I know the regular command for it. Anybody? Marco, Irwin, any of you guys remember?
What was that?
I always use Option Return to make a new slide, but trying to break one slide into two different slides. Is there a That must be one of those hotkeys that everybody that you can use. It just makes it really simple because I don't see a window that says new slide or anything like that. So that's all I did. I just go to where I want to create a new slide, Option Return, and it creates a new slide.
Option, like as a key on your keyboard?
Yeah, like on the bottom left corner, do you have an Option key?
No.
What keys do you have at the bottom side there?
Control?
Does that work? Control Return?
No.
Did I take?
Wait. Oh, wait, it did. It was just super slow.
That's okay. Also remember last week, I'm just thinking about this now, on week 11, on our ProPresenter resources that I gave you last week, there was a keyboard shortcut list. I'm going to download that for myself again here so I've got it.
Okay.
But there should be a Mac and a PC version of that one. Caitlin, are you on a PC? Is that right?
Yes.
So let me just look at that a second. Let me find that.
I'm trying to edit the text,
Sure.
and it's tiny.
So it's very small in its size.
Yeah.
So a nice way to do that, do you have a format button there at the top on the menu bar?
Yes.
So that's what I do most times is I'll use the format key and then I can change the font size. So right now I got 55, 56 going up. See
It
how
says
it's
it's at
changing?
70. Oh, what the heck? It just glitched out. It's at 72 now, which is
Okay.
nice.
So you can make it bigger there. You can also just left and center and that type of stuff.
Got it, got it.
Marco, how's it going, man? Irwin, you're getting quiet
I'm
on me.
good.
I'm trying to split the new slides
Split
with
the new slides.
yeah, but I'm on a different version and I clicked something and I just messed it up.
So option return doesn't work for you.
I haven't tried it. Like I said, I just clicked something and I did mess it up and I'm trying to go back.
It seems like there should be a pull down menu to do that. Like I said, I've gotten so used to using option command or option return.
I'm just gonna start a new one.
For what, a new slide?
Yeah.
You just click the little plus in the
Yeah, you can
middle bottom left.
but then don't you always have to like copy and paste your old material over to your new material as opposed to just
Oh, are you trying to copy
No,
or like just keep it consistent?
I'm just saying like, okay, I know that I want to break this this section into 2 slides, I just hit Option Return and off it goes to the next slide.
Oh, okay, I fixed it.
All right, I'm just going to keep working here, and so hopefully you can watch me. New slide. For some reason I got 2 verse 4s all of a sudden, but I'll get rid of them. Oops, that didn't make any sense. Oh, I know why. Never mind. All right, show of hands. Most everybody have lyrics on the screen. You're able to kind of do some basic editing. Okay, I'll give you a few seconds to keep working on that. And then I'll check in on you here and we'll make sure that we're mapping. So if you're going to do your arrangements and mapping, remember you go up to this 1 to 3 little box here. Choose your arrangement or add a new arrangement. The purple slides will be your arrangement. Your gray slides will be your master. And currently I'm on the worship arrangement. Now I'm on the master arrangement. So. Everybody doing okay? Any questions? All right, while you're working on that, I'm going to go ahead and just start the next song here for myself. give the labels here. Going to add a couple blank slides for my purposes. Label 1 is a blank. Label 1 is an instrumental. I'm going to drop a backdrop on this. I'm actually going to bring this one from outside here a second. Go ahead, Erwin, if you got a question, or are you just sighing a second?
Yeah, no, I was just positioning myself in a different way.
Excellent. I've noticed with all the staring at screens and spending a lot more time looking at computers, my neck gets a lot more tingly. All right, so I have my basic backdrop. Notice my backdrop changed from the one I had, the blue one I had a second ago. Now I'm just going to go through while you're all working. I'm going to do my own cleanup here. Again, this is just personal preferences. Like I try to usually put things on 4 lines if I can and then break it to the next slide. It helps to be a little, obviously know this song a little bit. So you kind of like you put the breaks on the spot where we're breathing and it's not in the middle of a singing phrase type of stuff, but stuff like that you can do. I usually capitalize the first line or first word of the line. Yeah, so I think I got the basics of the song. All right, let's remind ourselves how to do arrangements. Again, it's this tool right up here in the right corner. Pull down the gear menu here, add new arrangement. I'm going to call mine worship. Gray slides are the master slides. The purple slides are the arrangement slides, so they just automatically follow the master slides. But in this situation, I'm going to go back to the master level here a second. For some reason it lost its label there a second. So there's my blank, my verse, chorus, bridge. Yeah. Okay. Bring the blank down. So chances are I'm going to sing this verse and chorus breathe just a second. Then we're going to repeat it. Verse 1, chorus. Worship pastor is probably going to say something in between before singing the bridge. And then the worship pastor says, hey, I want to turn that last slide. We're going to turn that into a separate tag. So I just duplicated it. If you use Command-Shift-D, we'll duplicate a slide. And I'm going to call it tag. Notice it changed up here in the master level. Go back to the worship here. And now I have a tag line. So I've got an extra, he is for you, he is for you, that section. And I could add multiples if I wanted to really go for it. All right, I'll let you keep working, but I'm just checking my slides here. I might, in this situation, of course, this is just a creative choice because everybody's just singing amen, amen, amen. I may just put one amen. Notice as well I use these instrumentals to create gaps. So if I've got a break after everybody sings the chorus, my backdrop has continued to move. There's my lyric again. All right, how many of you have gotten to already creating one arrangement? Nobody's getting the arrangements? Can I help you guys? Go ahead, Caitlin.
So when I click like the arrangement button and then I label it worship, I'm not seeing the labels I made. I'm just seeing group.
So right below, like you're looking at my screen, so you got this gray bar that has all the master slides, yes? Do you have the purple? Do you have the purple ones? No purple.
I have purple, but it just says group.
Interesting, huh?
But all my slides are labeled.
Yeah. And when you pulled this down, you went to, and it says worship here. That, boy, that's a new one for me. So just grab any of these gray ones and can you pull them down into the line like that? See how I'm doing that? Can you do that?
It's like, yes.
And now you have the purple ones? Sorry, I can see your lips moving, but I'm not hearing your voice. Sorry.
The gray one says group, and the purple one does as well.
I think she needs to label the slides. She needs to right click on the slides.
Yeah, you might be right. So let's just follow through this. So let's right click on it, group label, and then give it a label. Is that what you did? Here's one thing that's different. There are both group labels and slide labels. I never use the slide labels, but some people like to use those instead. I always use the group labels, and that's what actually corresponds to your arrangement view.
That's probably it.
Try that.
Now everything just went away.
All right, let's just double check. Go to master here.
Okay.
Just stay on master a second. Do you have any slides there?
Yes.
You do? Okay, so that's a good sign. So let's work on the master level here. Right click on them and then give them their group labels. So like this is my blank.
Okay.
Let's see if that's helping there. Harrison, were you able to make a roadmap arrangement?
Sort of.
Okay.
I only did like 3 slides because I just knew how to do it
Good.
already.
Good. 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 Yeah.
So
Sure.
then I just went straight to arrangement and I just put verse one, chorus, verse one.
Excellent.
For
Excellent. So
yeah.
that was all simple. Any questions? It all makes sense?
No, I was trying to edit one slide alone, like separate from the other ones, and I forgot how to do that.
Oh, to do just the quick edit?
Just for one of the slides. Like I'm trying to like get it to have a different cuz I want the amens to be bigger,
Mhm.
but I
So
don't want
just
to
change this,
make the other text bigger.
just change the font on that. So you
Yeah.
could do that. You could go to edit slide and then you could change the size on only.
I don't have.
That would be a cool way to do that actually as well.
Okay, I see.
Does that make
Okay, I
sense?
had the wrong tab pulled down. I have it now.
It's okay. So maybe you do your verses, and again, this is just creative license, but you do your verses at this size, and then when you go to the chorus, put it
Yeah.
over your font. I like that idea. Thank you. Marco, were you able to create an arrangement?
Yeah, it
I wish
started
I had
looking nice.
screenshots of you, man. You give the best like side eyebrows and stuff
Mhm.
going on. You're keeping us all guessing.
Mhm.
Any questions I can answer? You did say you were able to get an arrangement there, right?
Yeah, I was able to get it. I just don't know how to, at least on this version, get the those like little tabs at the top you have at the top of what you have, the blank
Right
verse
here.
one, yeah.
So you've got, are you in this arrangement view?
Yeah.
And you have the master slides, the gray ones right here that says like whatever blank, whatever you've labeled them.
I wait, what?
So right, you can see my screen. So right across here, do you have these master slides?
No, see, I don't know how to get those on this version.
And you're on 7?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's why I'm not being much help, am I? Okay. Uh, Maybe a good question for tutorials. So to double check those numbers or those
Marco,
ProPresenter 7 tutorials. Go ahead, Harrison.
Marco, when you right click on one of the slides, do do you get a group label option?
Mm, yeah.
So you
Okay,
put a
so
label,
whatever slide that is, label it what you want it to be.
Okay,
like
So like if
verse
it's a
or
verse
chorus.
one, just choose verse one.
yeah, see, I got that, but I'm like the the little top ones, I don't.
Interesting. So the arrangement view has changed in ProPresenter 7.
Yeah, I
Okay.
guess.
Have you created a new arrangement? Like click that settings thing and like created one?
Mm, no, let me see. Well, I don't see anything.
Yeah,
So,
I'm trying to go to their website and trying to see if I could search real quick for a
hmm.
um, Marco, I'm texting a real quick link that I found for using groups and arrangements in ProPresenter 7. And that's from Renewed Vision's website. Let's see if that's helpful. Erwin, are you able to make an arrangement?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, I figured it out a while back.
excellent. And
Yeah.
if you're looking for something to do, go ahead and jump on that second song. So if you got both of those songs done, we'll go ahead and do that.
I did.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Go ahead and set a timer. Do the other things we talked about in class, right? Set a timer, use the loop timer as well. That's another thing you can practice. Those are easy to do. You could export the files as well, or documents, or the playlists. How's it going there, Soraya?
Good. Just listening to my song
Gotcha.
on Logic that I did.
Nice. All right, so it appears that most of us have gotten through. We've made our new arrangement. We've copied and pasted things in. And so that's all working for us. We've also been able to do some basic arrangement stuff, break into new slides, label things, and then also the custom arrangement piece that we did. So I'm going to just show you one more thing here. Let's do a set of sermon notes. So I'm going to create a document here in a second. Let me share my screen. These are available for you as well. I already did these. So let me pull this up here. It's a Word document. It's labeled Thanksgiving. This is the sermon that I recorded with our pastor just yesterday. So this is typically how I will work on this. I'll create a new document. Just going to call it Sermon, Tech 1. You can use the different labels and stuff. So speaker notes, and there's your sizes. You got a blank document. I like to work this way using reflow. So I will copy and paste the highlighted sections that he wants included in. Option return for a new slide. And I'm not going to do the whole thing here, just a short section of it here. Very similar to doing lyrics, but just doing sermon stuff here instead. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the old formatting. And there's nothing on that. And then I'm just going to go ahead and apply my preset template. I have other templates that I use sometimes, like for Bible, I'll use this one. It's got a little italics thing going on. But for our purposes here, I'm just going to use the generic. There we go. Using just the formatting bar there. Back to reflow. Of course, I'm going to spell out the full book, so it's not just Psalm or just the shorten. Excuse me. I'll make a new slide for the next verse. I don't need that. But again, this is just basic formatting stuff that you guys can do. You can have your own choices and things that you might set up. And so now his verses are ready. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His faithful love endures forever. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so, those he redeemed from trouble. 107, Psalm 107, verse 1. So that's all ready to go. So these are real simple to set up. You're going to have your own formats and templates that you can set up to do that. I did show you this as well last week. Some of your pastors like to do fill in the blanks, right? So all you need to do is highlight the words that are going to be underlined. And I'm going to spell out the word as opposed to the and symbol. So things like that. So I've created 3 underlines under the word receive, love, and strengthened. Make it slightly bigger. Anybody remember how I did this last week? Under the editor tab. So if you go to the editor tab, you just highlight on, really you just have to get on the slide, text reveal. You have the bullet list, so this is like returns, and then also fill in the blank. And you'll notice when you go to that fill in the blank, these little bubbles will appear. So there are 3 fill in the blanks in this one. So now when we show that slide, fill in the blank, fill in the blank, fill in the blank. Now, one of the things I wish they would fix, and maybe they did it in 7, is I always wish you could step back, but as soon as you step back, it clears everything, and it makes you start over. My lyrics people always complain about that, like if they don't get their timing quite right, or the pastor goes off subject all of a sudden and they've revealed the next line or something, they always want to go back. Can I just go back 1? And it'll just always make it go all the way forward. So again, to do that, you just go to the editor, just click on the slide. You can also do it as a bullet list, but this is not a bullet list situation. Fill in the blank, and then all of those are filled in. And then I've got another set of verses here. I won't take the time to do these here, but that's basically how I would do any sermon verses. Harrison, go ahead.
Hypothetically, you could just make them all 3 separate slides, and then like you could go back 1 slide if you needed to like unreveal something.
Yeah, and they used to do it. That was the old way to do it. So like you'd have 3 slides, like you said.
Yeah, and just
One had receive, and you just went to the next slide, and you went to the next slide. But then they added, or they incorporated that into, I think, ProPresenter 6, that you could do that. So I wouldn't be surprised if 7 has the update on that. So does the fill in the blank thing make sense? You can do the exact same thing. So let's say bullet list. So let's say my point 1 is love your neighbor. Oops. Love your dog, right? So those would be simple enough. You could do the same thing on editor. Now you just tell it to bullet list, and it'll take every return you put in there. So now, love your neighbor, love your friend, love your dog. Simple enough? All right, so take those sermon notes. We'll just take 5 minutes to do this. Copy and paste a couple of those verses in. Format them to your pleasure, to your design, whatever you think looks coolest for you. If you want to, you could even mess with these preset templates. I'm not sure which are the default ones that are already in there, but you could try the blue style or the forest or some different things like that and see what impression. I know that's a giveaway. Mosaic is in there as well. Portfolio. So you could try one of those templates and see how it looks and kind of mess with it a little bit too. You can also, another way you could do it off the Bible, yeah, because you've got the basic generic Bible. I'm not sure which version. It may be King James or whatever the free one is. You can type in your scripture reference. So for instance, my scripture reference was Psalm 107, verse 1 to 2, I believe was the actual section there. Yeah. And then copy to current document. That's how you would do that. So that's really simple to do that. All right, I'm going to keep messing with these verses here. Why don't you go ahead and do a few sermon verses as well?
Are we supposed to add the entire Word document?
No, I'm just doing each of the sections of the verses that I needed. So I just copy and paste them over. I usually just put the 2 documents side by side, copy what I need, bring it over here.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
There, I did another fill in the blank. I have found it sometimes that the fill in the blanks don't trigger properly, and it's, you know, but usually once I played them through one time, then they work fine. All right, raise your hands. How many were able to get at least one sermon verse copied and pasted and reformatted? All good? Caitlin's smiling at us too. Awesome. How many were able to add one of the sermon points, underline the keywords or fill in the blanks, and get the fill in the blanks to bubble and work? Anybody? Anybody? Erwin, could you get the bubbles to work or the fill in the blanks?
I haven't gotten to that part yet. I'm
Okay.
still copying and pasting text.
Excellent. Why don't you do a fill in the blank just to get a little practice on that, and we'll move
Okay.
on. Harrison, were you able to get the fill in the blanks to work?
I was just getting to that.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
Can you show how to do that again real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So let me do it one more time here. So I've already created it in this situation here, but I'm going to go to Editor. I'm just going to underline the section that I want to underline, right? So for instance, this word season, and you could use the underline from over here if you wanted to. Yeah, oh, there's the U, or just Command U, just like Word document. And then fill in the blank right here. It'll tell you how many fill in the blanks you've got. So those 4 bubbles will tell me I've got 4 there, I've got 3 bubbles here, 2 bubbles here. So then, once I trigger the slide, and that's all it takes. Does that make sense, Marco? Awesome.
Can you do that one more time?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I use the editor, just underline the words that I want, Command U, fill in the blank, then come back out of here. Whoops, that one didn't work right now. It's got 4 bubbles, but it's got 5 fill in the blanks. I may have to go back and do it one more time. Now it's got 5, yeah. Now it's got the 5 little bubbles underneath it. Let's trigger it possibly again here. Yeah. Yeah, that worked. All right, in my situation, I will add a backdrop. I had another backdrop for you before. Yeah, here it is. It's currently a foreground, so I'm going to change it to a background. So now, oh, that's kind of cool. A little drone footage over a beautiful forest of trees. And that backdrop is going to stay current until I do one of 2 things. I either hit another foreground or I give it another backdrop, and then it'll trigger to another backdrop. Like if I go to another song, yeah, let's trigger a song. That backdrop is just going to stay. And notice I've got a different format here as well that I'm using on this song as opposed to what I was using before. If I want to bring that down into my playlist, just click and drag, So here's the 2 songs we've created for today. They're all lined up, ready to go. My lyric person could just walk in and just trigger the next slide. My goal is always to have them all just perfectly set up, and that lyric volunteer can just sit in the seat and just stay along and follow on to the next thing. Questions? Everybody got your fill in the blanks to work? Caitlin, did you get one of those fill in the blanks working?
Um,
Go ahead, Marco.
so yeah, I'm still trying to look for the editor mode, but it doesn't like take me to the exact same thing.
Interesting.
So I've clicked edit, and there is an editor option, but like I said, it's not the way you showed me, I think.
I've gotten so happy with 6 that I've been hesitant to move up to 7, and been busy too, so I haven't had the time to learn 7 yet. Okay, let me go back to you. Did you get that fill in the blank working?
No, I did not,
Okay,
because I was just figuring out how to pull from the Bible.
that's okay. That's okay. Did you figure that part out?
Yes, I just got a random
Okay.
verse.
So whatever slide you got in front, let's just do that fill in the blank. It could be a verse or anything. It doesn't have to be exact. So what I do, you're watching on the screen here, is I go to editor. I just click the parts that I want to underline. We're going to use 4 of them here. Then I do fill in the blank. Notice those 4 little bubbles showed up. So I got 4 fill in the blanks. So now if I trigger that slide, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a nice little tool, especially if you have a pastor or somebody likes to use fill in the blanks or point 1, point 2, point 3, stuff like that. You guys all have to do like a sermon class or a communications class, like prep a sermon. So I was like, no, we're worship leaders. We don't have to preach.
No, I actually I didn't take any of those classes. The only like speech class I took was just like the basic one, like speech and presentation, but it didn't like include any of this.
Didn't teach a ProPresenter how to use PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Caitlin, does that make sense? You're able to get one of those working?
Well, it's not letting me select like the word. It's just making me move the whole text around.
It's not letting you select the words.
You
So
might
you're
not
on
have.
the editor
Do you
mode.
have text on the slide?
Yes.
Double click on the text.
Which is what I just did there.
Maybe. I'm just not up to date like you guys are. But I don't see the bar on the side that lets me choose.
Oh, so just double check this on the right. There's different tabs.
I found it, I think. Yep.
Click on the one that says A. It looks like the Alabama, like Alabama's a Crimson Tide. Fill in the blank, and that should get you work in there.
Uh,
Yeah, just
exit out of here.
yeah. And then once you click on the slide, you should just be able to hit space or arrow or whatever. It'll advance the slide.
I did it correctly.
Let's look at it one more time. So you've got the editor window, right?
No,
So you've got the editor. So let's say we're going to highlight Command underline or Command U, consider and steadfast. I highlight those two. Text reveal, fill in the blank. Notice I got two little dots. Do you have two little dots or anything like that on yours?
It's working really slow, so I just underlined
Okay, that's all right.
um, blank. No two dots are showing up.
No, two dots are showing. All right. Oh, I wish I was there. I could help you go point by point here. So yeah, but once you trigger it, then those should go right there. But you were able to underline the section, right? And then you're able to choose this over here, fill in the blank, but it doesn't respond.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. No dots. That one's perplexing to me. I'm not sure why that would happen. So, all righty. Well, let's wrap things up for today. So we had the opportunity to do two different songs. We had the opportunity to do a portion of a sermon, so you could get just some sense of how you might copy and paste. You could do the fill in the blanks, or you could do the bullet points as well that we did together. We also learned 3 new ones that I didn't show you last week, right? I showed you how to do the timer, right? So I could put a 3-second timer on these slides and they would trigger every 3 seconds. Next slide. Even the fill in the blanks will trigger that way too. I showed you this week how you could do your scheduler. So this would be a great way to synchronize a number of computers that are running the ProPresenter together at the same time to show the same information. And then the third new thing I showed you is how you can export ProPresenter bundles, or you could just export slides as JPEGs. You can do the individual documents from over here, and then the playlist from here you can export. However, you cannot take a document just out of a playlist type of thing as here. So just always know if you got a document, you got to come back to the library to be able to do that. Assignments again for next week is the case study tab from Church Production Magazine. So that's our web assignment number 8. You got 2 weeks to do that. So joyful, joyful, we adore thee. Any other questions you guys have before I wrap this up? Go ahead, Soraya. I think that's a hand, right? Yes.
No, sorry, I was trying to
You're just stretching.
adjust my volume.
Adjust your volume. Praise the Lord. Hands in the air. Like you just don't care. Of course, no assignments or no class next Thursday. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful Turkey Day. I hope you all stay healthy and safe. No sickness in your family or anything like that. Yeah, and then I will see you all in 2 weeks from today. And then after that, it's just 3 more classes. We'll do a little more ProPresenter stuff. I'll show you a few more things, some higher end things, and then we'll kind of wrap up our semester. So that's it. Farewell as well to our asynchronous students. Hope you're having a great week. And I will see you all in 2 weeks. Gobble, gobble. Take care. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.